in a sense. And my next questions are is what during this process, this ascension process that we're speaking about, could you please um, expand upon the different extraterrestrial races that are that we've seen with Lars and all the different types of entities that he has been and all the different type of entities that I have been and the ones that are around the planet and helping with this process and how you see our relationship developing in physical form.
If you understand this right, you really ask about how you are going to connect to them in a different way than you're able to do now. Is that right?
Yes, but because, well, I know that there are light entities and higher vibrational entities that are around the planet as well, but I know there's also entities that have physical 3D bodies as well. And so I'm wondering how is that going to play out? The connection, the
They are still they are still going to lower the vibration and manifest here for you to be able to, if you are in a physical form, to be able to relate to them. But you are also going to have the ability of
telepathy.
telepathy, yes. It's a
That's
little,
telepathic communication with our minds, the communicating with our minds.
yeah, and that's when it's not, then it's, in that moment, it's futile to keep on lying because you're not able to go to lie to anyone because you are you are one with them when they manifest here with you. So when they come in for a higher frequency, they have to go down in frequency and intensity for you to connect. But you're also going to have meeting with extraterrestrial beings that are manifested on many, many, many places in your galaxy and in many other galaxies. You're going to have a physical, you can shake their hands and you can share with them understanding and knowledge and everything like that. So it's going to be a physical meeting. It's also going to be a meeting on a deeper level or a higher
Excellent.
level.
In terms of the society, it's going to take quite a while for the people who are still totally unaware of what's happening on the planet to
Yes,
get to say,
to
I don't know,
transcend.
where comes compared to where, and I don't know how I've heard it before in other sessions about where I was at and where Lars was at in terms of this ascension process. Um, Obviously we have a lot of information and I guess light is information, so that makes us much a bit more expanded than the average person who just doesn't know anything. But it was really interesting. There's a gentleman who has a connect with the blue avian, and they told him that he was not prepared, even though he's the spokesperson, that he was not prepared energetically enough to make it through the transition or the ascension into 5D
Yes.
in the moment. And
But many of you are already resonating and vibrating in 5D, but you're not aware of it. But you are. But when you finally decide to do this collectively, then it's when all of this lower density is going to lose grip of your planet and you are able to transcend. And yes, it's going to take time. It's like imagine a toddler is growing up, getting more and more knowledge and understanding as they grow up, but you have been taught the wrong kind of knowledge when you're growing up from wrong kind of sources, your government, your different.
Understood.
Yeah. So when you all understand that this has been going on, and this is time to change, it's going to change faster and faster and faster, and it's happening now. It's really happening now, and you as Hank are already in five dimension vibration. But when you're doing this work, you're going down in vibration to be able to do this. And you're still holding on to your body and have not decided to step out of that reality. So in a way, you have a denser reality with your body, but not with your soul. Your soul are already in the fifth dimension.
And are all souls already in the fifth dimension in a sense, relatively speaking?
No, not all
Okay.
have transcended to that. Many are kept in 3D, many are in fourth dimension, many is transcending into fifth dimension, and it's going faster and faster and faster. But you think linearly, so linearly speaking, you can feel it take forever, but if you don't think of a timeline, it's going to happen yesterday.
Well,
So
yeah, I've been saying it for years that I was already there.
yes,
Uh, what about Lars?
he's there, and
Okay.
he's easily so transcendent between different frequencies now. So whenever he need to or focus on to do this kind of work or other works, he's there directly because he has put a lot of effort and training into this. And that is why we urge you other also to do, and it's not hard to do. It's so easy, so you not can imagine it. It's so easy. Just go out an hour, sit on a beach looking out of a lake, or go to a stream, go out in the forest, and then you connect. And when it's going to be quiet in your brain chatter, is then you are able to connect directly. So when you learn to do that, even when the shattering around you is going on, then you are not will hold on to that lower density. It will lose the grip of you automatically.
Oh, very good. So, with that said, could you I always remember after we did the questions for the subscribers, and at the end you said that we could ask, what does the energetic signature of the planet look like now, and what will it look like once we uh, are able to, once we do transcend this dimension. So I would ask in this moment now, what does the energetic signature look like in terms of how many people or percentages of people who are at a vibration to make the transition? How does the planet look or feel?
They're showing me a picture of a big plain of grass that is on fire, and the wind is sweeping the fire in front of. So I guess they mean that it's growing like a wildfire or something like that, and expansionality, expansionary. No, what do they say? Exponentially,
Okay.
it's growing, and we can say that almost there is. We say of all of these inhabitants on your planet, is no when they transcend, they will not still longer stay here. So you will not longer be 7 billion people on this planet, and the planet is doing just fine, and it's transcend with you, and with your attention and with your reconnection, it will heal every wound you caused it. And you will also change your societies, your realities in form of cities and villages and urban places will change. When you go out in the urban places, it will be very pristine. It will be almost feeling blissful. But you can even have that feeling when you are in a city, because there are going to be cities in the future, but they will change. The hostility is gone. The low density is gone. You can go out on the street and don't need to look behind you because someone is going to hurt you. That is gone. So that is not longer going to have a part in your perception of your reality.
Very good. And something just popped into my head as you said the cities. We keep hearing about the cities of light, and then it reminded me of the enchanted complex that I was writing about, and then a lot of people said it reminded them of this movie. I can't call the name of it, but when we hear of the city of lights and we hear that the city of lights are getting closer and closer, I guess vibrationally to this level of existence, what can you tell us about the city of lights, please?
The cities of what you call light is the one that you create. It's the one you create with the right mindset or soul set. And that expression of light is that it's on a higher level where just the density of fear and all of that fear mongering has left you as a reality. It will not longer be a reality for you. So that is a form of the city's delight in the
And are
cities.
there populations from people who have already transcended and left the planet and are now fifth dimensional beings? Because, say, for instance, if their contract or what they came here to do is complete, and are there lots of entities that are already there waiting for us
Yes.
to?
The,
Okay.
the, the planet or that reality is already created, just waiting for you to step on.
That's one thing. There's a very famous channel named Daryl Anka, and he channels an entity, higher aspect of himself called Bashar, which happens to mean, I believe, messenger anyway. And he's always speaking about the cities of lights, and he said that they're actually lowering, like they're in the atmosphere of the planet out of our vibrational frequency, but they're coming closer and closer. Is that something to when will they literally meld with so they it seems like they're in the air just because of the way we reference vibration as in high or low from our own perception, but is that the something that will literally sort of meld with the planet and I mean, lower itself in so as we rise in vibration. How they say is above, so below, and this is what the what we're going to develop to. Does that make any sense? These cities of lights. They're saying they're floating in the air, literally, and I was
Yes,
trying to explain
it's
it that way to
it's
Lars.
floating about. All of these realities is about 4 feet above you. So if you take a long step with your intention, you will reach this. It's already created. And the light, city of light, the light in the cities, that are you that are shining that light. That are your collective that making this light. It's not literally a light, but you're creating this light. And that is the combine of the collective souls that creating this reality. And the reality is there for you. It's already available for you. Just step on.
Are there extraterrestrial or dimensional entities in these cities of lights as well?
Yes. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for greeting you and hugging you and kissing you.
Very good. And also, and we were speaking about the extraterrestrials. I mean, that's what I really sort of wanted the second part to be about, in terms of the extraterrestrials that are helping. They, you hear that there are biospheres, huge biospheres that are just out of phase throughout the galaxy
Yes.
around these planets that are making this shift, and that they have hospital wings or all, I mean, just so many amazing things, futuristic things that will help in everyone as they make this transition.
Yes, and the wonderful thing is you are all going to have access to that when you decided to get rid of this low density. It will all be open for you. It's like I'm now going to step into my bedroom, but when you step into the bedroom, you step into the universe. It's the same thing. You are connected with every living entities that ever have been and ever going to be, and you are connecting. To be able to communicate by through the different frequency, you are not going now directly from fifth dimension and that frequency and be able to connect uh, mentally and physically direct, but you're going to say, hey, I need this for this or this purpose, and that is going to be presented for you down through the dimensions. So they have to lower the frequency to connect with you in that place. And many
um,
of those dooms and places that are out there are now working overtime of helping you pass through this. And they are there working physically, really physically, because they are going to come in a lot of technology. So on this new planet, if we can say so, this rebirth of your planet,
yes,
and that need to be physical. So there are bases, or what you can say, there are on different planets. They are also on big, under big domes out in the universe, and all of that that you are going to need is going to be provided for you, and it's come out of this decision from different community and councils, and it's uh, come out of a decree from the source from the beginning. So yes.
understood. And so, and in two parts, a lot of us light workers, star seeds, whatever word you want to use to, just to, like I say, for reference, are on these ships during their sleep time, and of course, even their higher dimensional selves are there maybe all the time. Uh, is that so? A lot of like, say for instance, I know they're telling me and they've told Lars that we're working on these ships
Yes.
over the planet. So a lot of people, a lot of light workers are on those ships working all the time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then,
Because there is no time.
yes. And do they ever does when you go into a higher vibrational, fifth dimensional, maybe even higher fourth, is there a need for sleep?
No. You refill your energy reserve in different way, and it can also be so when you are focusing on a mission or a task. When you're doing that, the harder you work, so to speak, the better you feel.
Oh,
So
very good. So it's sort of self-generating
yes,
through works of love.
yes. When
Oh,
you
okay.
when you have love in focus, you will be provided with whatever you need, and you will not need to hold on to monetary system or belief systems anymore. It will be like turning on the light in a dark room, and you are
Understood.
going to dive in with all of your body into this pool of understanding and knowledge and all of that thing we're trying to show for you to understand. Now you have your finger in there. When you transcend, take that step of 3 or 4 feet and decide that now is the time, then you're going to see this enormous swimming pool and you can dive into it fully and tap into everything.
Excellent. You know, you were speaking about communication in terms of them having to lower their vibration, or us as we're raising our vibration to communicate, which is really like a great segue to we I keep about light languages and ET languages. Lars did a session with a beautiful young lady, and at the end, she did like an invocation to help people raise their vibration.
Yes.
Um, there's a lot of people, I've heard a few. What's the difference between extraterrestrial language and maybe light language? Is there a difference, or
Not really, but the languages has different purposes. It can have a, a ground purpose of communication, of course, but when you are transcending into a higher reality, you not need anymore to connect in a verbal. You not have to stand in front of the person you want to address, because you are both aware when this is taking place, and you are going to freely communicate telepathically. And so is you're going to do between different species, because different species have different way of speaking, so to say.
yes?
Yes, and you do that also when you're manifested, because it's necessary to be that way, that you do that. But you also have this telepathic ability, all of you. You have that now also, and you have always had that with you. You just you forgot to remember.
Yes, understood. So, literally, from what you've just said, light language, I'm here on the planet Earth and I'm connecting with the Palladian High Council or the Orion High Council or just a council period. And that's a light language communication that goes on between us. XET language is if I'm speaking, say, for instance, with Maya, and
Yes.
I know when Lars had his experience, it was all telepathic or whatever, but you hear people channeling and then they start speaking what they call star language or ET language. Uh,
That has a
uh,
purpose in that moment when that's happening. And when that lady did that in the session Lars did with her, it was the intention to wake people, uh, and that was in the appropriate way and time to do that. That was
Very
to
good.
wake people up. It was
I
like
made it.
it's like a code. It's like
Yeah.
when you're trying to, if you have a code to go into your door, you push the button to, and then you have a reaction. The door is going to open, and it's the same thing. You open doors, you open abilities.
When she was speaking that language, was someone speaking through her? Or was the, I mean, I know the energy was
It is
flowing.
her connection with her higher self, and
Okay.
where she originating from. She is really a princess from another galaxy, that she was regarded as a princess, a royalty. So when she did that, that they were her, if we can say, relative that helped her with that, and her higher self that did that. So yes.
Oh, okay. Amazing. And so you're on the moon of this planet. That this is what, maybe our third or fourth time coming to this, where there's a gas giant where we can see the aura coming off the planet, and
Yes.
there's a lot of people here or entities that are here who were almost cheering, I guess, as you arrived. What's going on there? I know that's like an hour and 25 minutes into I ask about your arrival. And
That's going on, that's showing us that the ones that now are manifesting on your planet, and all of you that are now, so to say, alive, have come through this place or this energy field with it, which is really it's an energy field. And many here surrounding us now are going to manifest into your planet and other planets in your galaxy, and they are preparing for the different agendas they bring with them. So they're showing this to make you to understand where you're coming from, that you're not just a little human manifested here and nothing else than miss this or misses that, because you are a part of God.
it's been coming like in almost every session that I do, and it seems like there's a huge group. I mean, there's so many people saying that this is getting ready to happen like really soon. We hear that word soon all the time, but like we're getting to um, what is it? The what? How do you say it? The critical mass, like critical mass, to where I know we had spoken about it before about certain number of entities that are going to wake up first into full consciousness, and then after that, then exponentially, like you said, like a wildfire, it will start to spread, and then more and more, especially the star seeds, will wake up probably quicker than the Earth seeds.
Yes.
But I mean,
And you have already, you started off with 500 entities on this planet from the beginning, light workers that are focusing on the right frequency and on the right intention. And it's now many more than that. So it's already grown into a bigger group. But we want to address this, that is so important that you stop listening to the negative messages that are brought out there, because it's the elite that's trying to keep you into this density. They're feeling they're losing power, they're feeling they lose meaning with their lives, because they came in here with a lower vibration and has learned nothing from their experience. They're stuck. So what we need to focus on is not the negative, just bring out the positive, and they will come with you, because you have the intention to bring everyone with you, and you can do that. Some is
so
going to decide to, no, I will not take this step, and they are going to get help for that. They're going to be healed from that belief system they are clinging on to. They are stuck.
And is it 144,000 the number that will create critical mass for the entire planet?
You already reach the amount of awareness that you now can step into that reality when you decide to do. So it's yeah. We can't say a number. We can say a number, but it has no importance. The importance is the amount of human beings that are awake are enough now to take this step into that new reality.
I've been working on a project of drawing pictures from the book of Revelations, and it was really interesting when I read about the 144,000 um, in Revelations, and so um,
Yes, it's a good number.
that's it, huh? Very good.
We can say
Yeah.
this also, that it's very important that you get rid of old belief system because you're talking about revelation as you took it out of that book many of you are putting your trust and belief in. But the belief system has also been created for holding you down and in control. So it's very important that you free yourself out of that belief system, but also do that with respect. Many of you are afraid to leave it behind because you are afraid to be judged, and many of you have been scared into to believe that you're going to some place where it's not so nice, and it's not the truth. You have to get rid of that belief system to be able to transcend, because it not serve you in any way anymore to keep on to that. It's just low density. It's a control system created by
Was
man.
was that material originally channeled to the entities who wrote it?
They got help from outside of this reality, came in to create this low density because they were going to try to harvesting resources of your planet and many other places. They are
Okay, so
gone. They are gone. So so in a way you can say that the one that wrote it had not the intention to create any harm or anything. They were manipulated to do this.
okay,
So, but
so my thought was that it was channeled with a beautiful message, and then
yes,
the message and its interpretation was then manipulated in
yes,
order
exactly.
to. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. That's why. See, that's why some people say, "Oh, like the
But
person,
if you
particular
read that
person
book
who was
from
telling me that I should not stop and reiterate or to make sure that I really got it right. Because if I would have just let you say what you just said, a lot of people already know would have been like, well, how could he say it that way? And that's why I said, hold it. Was it not channeled and channeled with a beautiful message? And then after it was channeled, those who interpreted it for their own benefit manipulated it to change it to a control system type thing.
yeah, and it's from the beginning it was not written at all. It was not on a paper. It was not.
Understood.
Yeah, from the beginning it was just brought to you as a nice message, and it started long before your time counting of DC or BC or whatever. But then when it was written, really written onto a paper or scrolls, then they started to manipulate it, the message.
Oh, there we
Because
go.
if you read it from start to end, there's a lot of atrocity going on and a lot of very bad thing. And if you think of it, what does that do for you? It make you scared. And how easy is it not to manipulate and control a scared person? It's really easy. And that was the intention. Not only for the their that society or that community or what we can say, but it came from outside of your reality also, because when the people or this entity that wanted to have this control was cooperated with many other entities that are now cleared out of this reality. They are not having any power here, but the legacy that living on, that religions that keeping on to this belief system is the one that is really hurting you now. So you have to decide to step out of that now to be able
So
to transcend.
what about the book of Enoch?
There's a
Uh,
lot of truth in that book. There's a lot of lovely messages in that book. And when you
they don't.
read it
Okay.
with your heart, but when you read it because you're trying to be something else than you are, then you're manipulating yourself into a system that is not beneficial for you at all.
See, like that right there. I don't understand. I'm sure someone will understand what you mean by that when you say when you're reading it to be someone that you're not. I don't really understand
We will
that
try to
statement.
clarify this. There's a lot of uh, promotion for slavery in that book, the promotion of evil in that book, and if you don't do like we say, we're going to put you in a place where you're going to be hurt for
In the book,
eternity.
I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about the book of Enoch.
Then you have to clarify because
I'm sorry.
I
Very
can't
good.
translate.
Okay, very good, very good. All right. Okay. Enoch is a book that they didn't include in the Bible,
Yes,
and
but that is also man-made. That's not coming out. All of that is not coming out of love either.
well, I before we even say anything else on it, I think we may Lars may have to read about it or to understand it before you make those statements. Because, like I said, that was why I asked in the beginning: can the instrument answer outside of their understanding or their knowing? I know that they can, but in certain scenarios, especially about certain subject matters, where I know that the vessel or the instrument has a strong feeling about. I feel like that comes through in these messages, and I try to. So I'm going to steer away from that
We
conversation.
try to show him, but he doesn't always understand what we show him.
Okay.
So he
So
can't interpret it and he misinterprets it and he is eager sometimes to answer the question because he wants to get the good message out. But
understood, and I understand that. Promise you, I really do. So I'm just, there's just certain things. Uh, I know how humans are. I'm a human, and I was raised religiously, and I just know that we prefer this to be a positive message as opposed to you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, that type of thing, or what have you. So what about okay? So what about the emerald tablets? These emerald tablets that they have are supposed to be so hard that they can't damage them, they can't do anything, and actually the material is pretty much forbidden in a sense to. I mean, even every time someone gets an interpretation of them and they put it online, these tablets are yanked. Could you reach into your, I don't know, are you familiar with the emerald tablets? I think of Thoth.
we are aware of the expression emerald tablets, and we are also aware of a lot of expression for what in reality is different frequencies, different energies. So there's no material on your planet that cannot be destroyed. There are there are energies and frequency that will be forever and cannot be destroyed. There are messages and intention that cannot be destroyed, but materially you can destroy it. So it's not that it's so.
You mean futuristically they'll be able to destroy it because thus far they have not been able to destroy it with everything that they've tried.
Yes.
I mean,
It's,
I know I just put it that way, and I'm not trying to put him on the spot or put you on the spot.
I can feel that they don't like to they, they won't like to go into this area of discussion for the moment. They are not
Understood.
focusing on that. They're focusing on.
I'm sort of I'm okay, and I understand that as well, and we can change the focus of this. I mean, we're finished here. I just was the more you say to me, the more questions pop into my head.
Yes,
Uh,
we know that, and that's a part of your personality that we really love. And Lars is also loving that personality uh, in you, but he don't want to. He's so hard focusing on bringing positive energy out now. So will he when we explain for him something, he choose not to bring it forward because it's not for the moment any good for anyone to know about that.
I know, but that's his interpretation. Why? That's what I'm
Yes,
saying. Why? How
that
do you put us together? You put us together.
yes,
I mean, we're together
that
doing this type of work,
yeah, but
and
that's his free will. We cannot manipulate his free will of not bringing out some kind of message. How much we even scream in his ear, he will not bring it out because he has that free will. He will not. He will not be involved and a part of that. So therefore, not answer. All answer is coming out. It's not that he is using his mind to manipulate or change any of the messages. It's just that his inner self saying, not now, not now, please step back.
so then why me? Why me? Why are we doing this together? If you know what I'm
You're
saying.
doing a lot of things that are beautiful. You're doing the right intention, but some of the intention in your questions and the answer for that question is not for any benefit for the collective. And if we're saying that this, wait, Maya, step forward. She say, if we say to you, this is a lie you have been fed into, how would that be interpreted? That will be interpreted that something bad is going on and has happening in your lifetime. You have been fed in a lot of lies in your in this society and density you have been receding in, and Lars, as his entity, decided for some time back that he will not tap into that anymore to say that they are lying, this is not truth. And do you think he willing to say is nothing is so hard that you can't destroy it on this planet even now? And you can interpret that as you want. But he will not say that is a lie, because there are different kind of truth out there. So
Literally, is it if for this particular line of question, I should be asking someone else who would be willing, because it's out there, and if
yes,
we're trying to, for me, I just like the truth in all of it. There's so much stuff that's said. There's so many things that are supposedly out there, and
you can get answer for all your questions, but you cannot have all of your question answered this way.
totally understood. And so, is it just this particular line of questioning just best for someone else then?
If you want that answer, yes. If you ask about anything that, because we can't see that anything is impossible. So if you say something is impossible to destroy, that's impossible. Everything can be destroyed. So have they demonstrating any material in
But obviously, I think these tablets aren't man-made. I thought they were extraterrestrially brought to the planet and
yes.
given to a particular, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I always ask, can the instrument answer outside of his own understanding or his own knowledge? I know in some
He
cases, yes.
can, but he will not, because he chooses not to do that with his intention for the moment. It can change, but now he decided not to tap into that.
So have we pretty much said everything that we could possibly say with all these sessions that we've done? Have we answered?
No, there are many more messages to bring out, and you have many more questions coming up and be fed into you, and in his reality also there will always be questions.
Very
So
good.
you're still doing a great job We in no way trying to criticize anything, just that his intention is not to focus on anything. He's saying to us, debunking. Or, no, he will not tap
No,
into
that
that.
wasn't my intention,
No,
but I
we
understand.
know, but many can perceive it as if he's saying, no, that's not true. Then you are saying that in the same way you're then saying they are lying. So, so who should you believe? This message or their message? It's up to you as an entity to resonate with what you believe. Don't take this for your truth either, what Hank and Lars is bringing through. It has to resonate with you, and you have to use your, can we say, common sense or your intuition. So what is true for you is true for you. So yes, you have a lot of work still to do. And by the way, Hank, Isabella stepping forward and say, and she take your form. She looked exactly like you now, but she has a cap on her head.
I
But
put mine on while
yeah,
you were under.
yeah, okay. She's saying we love your artwork and it's healing you, and and you should show it for more people because it's doing good for them in their awakening and their their feelings and understanding of what is going on. So try to show them more than you do. She's stepping forward to say, yeah.
Did she? Did she? What? Oh, thank you. It's so bizarre. I tell you, that was going to be my very last question, and I am not making it up. So her stepping forward. Thank you for stopping that other conversation. That was a great segue. This artwork that I'm doing right now, we're sort of in negotiation. Should well, this is advice. Just I need advice. I was about the artwork. Like, this client wants total rights of the artwork, and they want total rights of the artwork. And I don't, you know how I am about giving my artwork up for free. I say, hey, you just needed the images or whatever, but if you want the originals, you know how I am about that. I have all of my originals, you know what I'm saying? Because this is going to go into a slideshow. I don't really like giving up my originals unless I'm making it as a gift. If I draw your face and it looks just like you or something like that, that's normally what I do if I do portraits, and I give it to the person. What does she think about this? Should I just, what is her?
She's pointing at the stomach, on the stomach, and say, "What does this say to you? What
Yeah.
does your intuition say to you?" That is the way we communicate with you, Hank. So
Well,
if you
my
listen,
gut feeling.
yes,
My gut feeling is that they're going to take the work, and then they'll probably decide, oh, I can make a small book out of this. I can sell these images, and I'm going to pay you only this much money to do this, and then I can make a lot of money off of it.
you see, you're a smart entity.
I don't know why that drives me crazy, the thought of that, though. I don't like that.
We think it should be more beneficial for the collective if you are able to show that art you're creating now and all of the art you're creating earlier in your life also for the masses. And you can do that in different way on internet or in galleries or whatever. But we think you should hold on to that for giving you now a help in this side. It's yeah, that we leave you with that, Hank, because we
Okay.
know that you have the knowledge what you are going to do is going to be the right decision.
Well, it was a source of income for me. Uh, and so I just, it was a good source of income.
Yes, but
Uh,
the terms and conditions changed during the. it was not clearly for you from the beginning what the terms and conditions should be. And we think you are going with your feelings when you say this thing you say about that. And why should they need it, she says. What should they need it?
In a sense. And my next questions are what during this process, this ascension process that we're speaking about, could you please expand upon the different extraterrestrial races that we've seen with Lars and all the different types of entities that he has been and all the different type of entities that I have been and the ones that are around the planet and helping with this process, and how you see our relationship developing in physical form.
If you understand this right, you really ask about how you are going to connect to them in a different way than you're able to do now. Is that right?
Yes, but I know that there are light entities and higher vibrational entities that are around the planet as well, but I know there's also entities that have physical 3D or the ascension into 5D
Yes.
in the moment. And
But many of you are already resonating and vibrating in 5D, but you're not aware of it. But you are. But when you finally decide to do this collectively, then it's when all of this lower density is going to lose grip of your planet, and you are able to transcend. And yes, it's going to take time. It's like imagine your toddler is growing up, getting more and more knowledge and understanding as they grow up, but you have been taught the wrong kind of knowledge when you're growing up from the wrong kind of sources, your government, your different.
Understood.
Yeah. So when you all understand that this has been going on and this is time to change, it's going to change faster and faster and faster, and it's happening now. It's really happening now, and you as Hank are already in five dimension vibration. But when you're doing this work, you're going down in vibration to be able to do this.
Bodies as well. And so I'm wondering how is that going to play out? The connection,
they are still going to lower the vibration and manifest here for you to be able to, if you are in a physical form, to be able to relate to them. But you are also going to have the ability of
telepathy.
Telepathy, yes. It's
That's telepathic communication with our minds. The communicating with our minds.
Yeah, and that's when it's no. Then it's in that moment it's futile to keep on lying, because you're not able to go into to lie to anyone, because you are one with them when they manifest here with you. So when they come in for a higher frequency, they have to go down in frequency and intensity for you to connect. But you're also going to have meeting with extraterrestrial beings that are manifested on many places in your galaxy and in many other galaxies. You're going to have a physical, you can shake their hands, and you're still holding on to your body and have not decided to step out of that reality. So in a way you have a denser reality with your body, but not with your soul. Your soul are already in the fifth dimension.
And are all souls already in the fifth dimension in a sense, relatively speaking?
No, not all
Okay.
have transcended to that. Many are kept in 3D, many are in fourth dimension, many is transcending into fifth dimension, and it's going faster and faster and faster, but you think linearly. So linearly speaking, you can feel it take forever, but if you don't think of a timeline, it's going to happen yesterday.
Well,
So
yeah, I've been saying it for years that I was already there.
yes,
Uh, what about Lars?
he's there, and
Okay.
he's easily so transcendent between different frequencies now. So whenever he need to or focus on to do this kind of work or other works, he's there directly because he has, and you can share with them understanding and knowledge and everything like that. So it's going to be a physical meeting. It's also going to be a meeting on a deeper level or a higher
Excellent.
level.
In terms of the society, it's going to take quite a while for the people who are still totally unaware of what's happening on the planet to
Yes,
get to say,
to
I don't know,
transcend.
where compared to where, and I don't know how. I've heard it before in other sessions about where I was at and where Lars was at in terms of this ascension process. Um, Obviously we have a lot of information, and I guess light is information, so that makes us much a bit more expanded than the average person who just doesn't know anything. But it was really interesting. There's a gentleman who has a connect with the blue avian, and they told him that he was not prepared, even though he's the spokesperson, that he was not prepared energetically enough to make it through the transition